Mo, mo, Shantam Chinmayamo Mamo Tatastham Kevalam Mo Marani Shuddham Mamo. So if we recall the previous sutras which we have discussed so far, we will find some great secrets have been revealed by Patanjali Maharshi, and a few of them are very, very important to us, having a lot of practical value. If we have to talk about such one sutra, Sutra 29, Nabhi Chakre Kaya Vyuha Jnanam, by doing Samyama on the navel plexus, one acquires the knowledge of the formation of entire body. And we saw that how important it is merely by becoming aware of this area, focusing on this area, one can know a lot about his own body. And not only that, one can really remain healthy as a result. Because when this kind of attention is done on the abdominal area, then body becomes sensitive, mind becomes sensitive to any signals which are coming from the peripheral area, from the entire body, and one can take certain corrective measures after interpreting these signals, these impulses correctly. So this was very important part of the body which was mentioned. Now again in today's sutra, another important part of the body is being talked about. And like Nabhi Chakra, this is also a chakra. It is called Hrdaye Pundarik. So some important chakras which are really important, considered to be important since ancient times. Those have been covered in the Yoga Sutras. So today's sutra is talking about the heart, Hrdaye Chakra, heart region, or lotus of heart. So the sutra reads, Hrdaye Chitta Samvita. It's a very small sutra. Hrdaye Chitta Samvita. हृदय में संयम करने से चित्त विज्ञान होता है. That is the Hindi translation. And English translation is, by practicing Samyama on the heart, knowledge of the mind or Chitta is acquired. So the original word is Chitta, but in English it has been translated as a mind. Although Chitta is very rich in meaning, mind is very limited in meaning, but for want of appropriate word, the translation uses the word mind. So the translation is, by practicing Samyama on the heart, knowledge of the mind is acquired. So this is very simple sutra, but then now we have to understand that what each word means, and what is this heart chakra, where exactly it is located, how it is to be done. So these are the questions which will arise in sadhak's mind. Now, as we have seen, although these sutras are talking about Samyama technique, and we have not acquired the ability for Samyama, but then the principles which are working behind all these sutras, if they can be applied in day-to-day life, even at the lower level, at our day-to-day life also, we can benefit a lot from applying the same principle. In Samyama, the highest possible knowledge is possible. But at our level also, if we pay attention to the heart region, then some understanding about the working of the mind can be easily acquired. So as we had seen, the practical suggestion was given that throughout the day, if we can pay attention to the abdominal area and try to keep it relaxed, see that there's no tension there. So, which will have great implications in dealing with the stress of life as well as, acquiring good health. Same way, heart is the region where if the focus is done, and if we pay attention to the heart region, we become aware of this area frequently or remain fixed there for some time, particularly when we are going through certain turbulent period, when we are going through some difficult time. That time, if this attention is given, then a lot of understanding can be gained about the working of our mind, how our mind is functioning. That is a very important practical aspect of this sutra. So, the Vyas Bhashya of Sutra is very small. Now, all these sutras you will see Vyas Bhashya, there are no comments available. There's no big commentary given, no interpretations given in a very detailed form. Only certain suggestions are given, and these suggestions are indicative. So we have to make meaning out of it on the basis of our experiences in yoga or what we have learned from our teachers. So based on that, we have to find the significance of the sutra, and if possible, we have to apply the principle in our day-to-day life. So Vyas Bhashya is very simple, very small, two sentences. Vyas Bhashya is there, where it says, "Heart is the citadel of Brahma." So the word which is used here is Brahmapuri, Brahmapur. Heart is the place where Brahma resides. That is what it means. Heart is the citadel of Brahma. It is shaped like a lotus with a small aperture in it and is the seat of knowledge. By Samyama on this, perception of Chitta arises. So this is the translation of Little Vyas Bhashya, which is there. If we look at it in Hindi, it makes a different sense. इस ब्रह्मपुर में अर्थात हृदय में जो दहर या शुद्र गर्त युक्त पुंडरीकार घर है, उसमें विज्ञान रहता है। उसमें संयम करने से चित्त संवित होता है। चित्त संवित होता है मतलब चित्त का ज्ञान होता है। So this is the very, very important part of Vyas Bhashya. Now looking at this heart, let us understand what is meant by heart. Now often we equate all the words which are there in yoga, we equate with the physical aspects or the present day knowledge, present day meanings of the word Hrdaye or heart. But in ancient times, all these words, they had a very significant and different and deeper meaning, which we have to understand. So one may ask that is this the heart which is beating in the chest region? It could be, it is, but then here it is more, the heart is being talked about more as a center of consciousness of our being. That is what we have to understand. So it's a very important area of the body to understand oneself. Heart has been, since ancient times, the heart has been considered as a seat of consciousness. And as I was telling you, when we were discussing about Bhuvana Jnanam Surya Samyama, then we had discussed about this, that even today, when we talk in terms of physiology and anatomy, if you talk to doctors, if you talk to medical science people, which is more important, the heart or the brain? Where finally, which is the seat of life? Which is making it possible for the organism to be alive? Whether it is brain or it is the heart. And lots of explanations are there, debates are there. But then since ancient times, it was considered that the heart is the most important area, even more than the brain. Because the life is lived at the heart level. And why it is said? Because heart is the center of feelings. all the feelings are getting connected to the heart. And whatever we see, whatever we experience, whatever we perceive, the first reaction is there felt at the heart level. That is what the ancient thinking is. So, from that point of view, this heart is considered to be very important. And so much so that Vyas Bhashya, which is a very, very important work on spiritual discipline, it says that Brahma resides in the heart. Brahma resides in the heart. And I had told you that the passage which I read, that in the heart there is a particular small aperture. The shape of that aperture is like a lotus. So when I was reading about it last time also, now also, I was reminded of Jesus Christ. You know, many photographs of Jesus Christ, you will find the heart and there is a distinct lotus shape which is visible. And as if the heart is in fire, as if there is, a lot of light. These kind of photos are depicted. So that is what shows that even in apart from India, apart from Hindu thinking, even in Christian thinking, this heart is considered to be a very important region. So from that perspective, when we look at it, there are certain passages in the ancient text which we can recall, and we'll find that these passages, they indicate the heart is very, very important. And as I told you, the heart is the center of feelings. The moment something happens, the moment we perceive something, the immediate reaction will be felt in the heart. And then it will be interpreted at the mental level, at intellectual level. We will interpret it, we'll try to understand it. But the reaction will be felt at the heart region, and which is very, very immediate and instant. So that is what we, have to understand and pay attention to. So one of the ancient texts which talks about this is not only the heart is helpful in understanding the chitta or the functioning of the perception and perceiving mind, but it is also the seat for acquiring knowledge about the purusha, the chetna, the spiritual principle, or the soul, or the spirit. So for that also, heart is the main region where the focus is to be carried out. So in the next sutra, we will be talking about Purusha Jnanam, knowledge about the Purusha. But here we are talking about knowledge of Buddhi, knowledge of Chitta. Chitta can be equated to Buddhi. Chitta is a conglomerate of so many things. We will look at it. But before that, I'll just read from one of the text, one of the quote. न पातालम न च विवरम गिरीणाम नैवांधकारम कुक्षयो नो दधीनाम गुहायस्यम निहितं ब्रह्म शाश्वतं बुद्धिवृत्ति विशिष्टा कवयो वेदयन्ते. So they are saying that this consciousness or this higher knowledge is not to be found in some distant place. People are searching here and there, people are going here and there in search of knowledge, in search of self-understanding, in search of God. So for them, this particular text is what is saying that जिस गुह्य में शाश्वत ब्रह्म निहित है वह न पाताल में है, न पर्वत कंदरा में है, न अंधेरे में है, न समुद्र गर्भ में है. कविगण अर्थात आत्मज्ञानी गण उसे अवशिष्टा बुद्धि वृत्ति कहते हैं. So it is to be found in the region of the heart. So this kind of saying, many saints and sages have also talked about it. So particularly when we are talking about uh, this particular shlok, if we look at the meaning of it, what it says is that it is futile to search the spiritual essence in human beings outside your body. कहीं गुफाओं में जाके, पहाड़ों में जाके, you don't have to search to go into mountains and caves and even in tirtha sthanas or even in some secret places. People believe that there are certain places where one can acquire knowledge, but here what they are saying is all the knowledge is available within your own self, within yourself. It is hidden. Only thing is you have to just find it out. That is what it says. So That reminds a bhajan of Kabir. मोह को कहाँ ढूंढे रे बंदे, मैं तो तेरे पास रे. So that entire bhajan of Kabir, it is saying the same thing. It is saying where you are searching, and if you really if you are really wanting to understand, look within yourself and you will find me. That is what Kabir says. There are so many other, such kind of bhajans are also there. Uh, Again, one of the bhajan of Kabir. Long back when I was in school, we had this in our syllabus. This Kabir particular bhajan was this doha was there in our syllabus, and since childhood. But in childhood, the meaning was not clear. But now it makes sense when we look at it now. And I'm sure all of you must have heard about this particular doha. पानी में मीन प्यासी, पानी में मीन प्यासी, मोहे सुन सुन आवत हासी. पानी में मीन प्यासी, मोहे सुन सुन आवत हासी. जलथल जलथर सागर खूब नहावे, भटकत फिरे उदासी, भटकत फिरे उदासी. आत्म ज्ञान निरो नर भटके, आत्मज्ञान बिना नर भटके. कोई मथुरा कोई काशी. So people are in search of this knowledge. कोई मथुरा जा रहा है, कोई काशी जा रहा है. All the pilgrimage places people are visiting to search. And जैसे मृग का नाभि माही कस्तूरी, बन बन फिरत उदासी. जैसे मृग का नाभि माही कस्तूरी, बन बन फिरे उदासी. So what this bhajan is saying, that unnecessarily you are searching everything outside. It is within you. Just he gives the example of air which has got kasturi, that scented substance which is there in the nabi or the navel of that deer. It is in Himalaya region. So it is believed that this deer is all the time searching from where the beautiful fragrance is coming. So it is moving here and there, searching in the mountains, searching in the trees, all the time moving here and there. Little does he realize that the smell which is being experienced by the deer, it is coming from within his own navi. Same way, Kabir is saying that everything is within us. So this heart region from that perspective is very, very significant. And another thing is there, that when we talk about the heart region, as I told you, it is a seat of feelings. And ultimately, through the feelings, one can get the knowledge of the self. Because ultimately, how we are reacting, how we are perceiving, our perceptions are entirely based on what we are feeling. Ultimately, everything boils down, according to one of the school of yoga, everything boils down to the feelings. The way we feel, the way we perceive. And the way we perceive, the way we act. So all our actions are based on the perception, and our perceptions are based on what we are feeling. So this heart is the region where, ultimately the feelings are there. So the heart becomes a center where we focus. So I'll read one passage from the, Yoga Sutra. One of the Yoga Sutra we had discussed earlier in chapter 1, Sutra 28. This Sutra 28, it is in Hindi. A portion of it I will read in Hindi, and a portion of it I will read in English, because this is a very, very significant sutra, and we have to understand how important the heart region is and how exactly the heart is to be located. The mysterious heart, or the heart as the seat of consciousness, where it is to be located. We may say that it is physical organ and we may focus on that, but again there it will be mistaken thing. We have to locate this heart in our body by following our feelings. If we follow our feelings, then we will know where exactly we are feeling the feelings. They are not felt in the brain. The center of feeling is totally different. In brain, the calculations are there, the vrittis are there, but even when we talk in terms of vrittis, we do not know where the vrittis are taking place. Right now, as I am talking to you, You are thinking a lot. You are listening to me. You are evaluating it. Lots of thoughts are going on in your mind, and all these are vrittis. Whatever is going on in your mind right now is what is vrittis. But you will not be able to see where exactly these vrittis are taking place. We may say that they are taking place in the brain, or that will be scientific terms. We may say that they are taking place in the mind. But where is the mind? Where exactly this mind is located in the body? That is very difficult to say. So, for convenience sake, we say that it is all in the brain, it is all in the head. But exactly, it is very difficult to really say. So, this heart or this center, which Sutra is talking about, it has to be located by following the feelings we have. And the exact process will be, I'll just read that out so it will make better sense. Although it is talking about Ishwar Pranidhan, as I told you, Sutra 28 is related to Ishwar Pranidhan. So I'll read a passage from, it's a big sutra, but I'll read a relevant passage. कार्यतः ईश्वर प्रणिधान हृदय में करना पड़ता है. नवीन साधक जो मूर्त ईश्वर का प्रणिधान प्रणिधान सहज मानते हैं, उन्हें हृदय में ज्योतिर्मय ऐश्वरिक रूप की कल्पना करनी पड़ती है. मुक्त ईश्वर जिस प्रकार स्थिर चित्त और परम पद में स्थित होने के कारण प्रसन्न वदन है, अपनी ध्येय मूर्ति का उसी प्रकार चिंतन करके उसमें अपने को ओतप्रोत भाव से स्थित मानकर ध्यान करना होता है. प्रणव जप के द्वारा अपने को ईश्वर प्रतीकस्थ स्थिर निश्चिंत प्रसन्न ऐसा स्मरण करना होता है. इसके अभ्यास से जब चित्त को स्थिर निश्चिंत तथा ऐश्वर्य भाव से स्थित करने में समर्थ हो जाए, तब हृदय में स्वच्छ शुभ्र असीमवत आकाश की धारणा करनी चाहिए. उस आकाश में सर्वव्यापी ईश्वर की सत्ता है, ऐसा जानकर उसमें अहम भाव ओतप्रोत रूप से स्थित है. अहम भाव इज कनेक्टेड टू द इंटेलेक्ट. हमारा बुद्धि, हमारा चित्त, उसमें अहम भाव है. तो ये अहम भाव को कहाँ जाना जाता है? ये हृदय में जाना जाता है. मैं ही उस हृदय आकाश चित्त में स्थित और ईश्वर में स्थित हूँ, इस प्रकार ध्यान करना पड़ता है. हृदय आकाश ईश्वर चित्त में और अपने चित्त को मिलाकर निश्चिंत संकल्प शून्य एवं तृप्त भाव से रहने का अभ्यास करना होता है. एक श्रुति में यह प्रणाली भली भांति वर्णित है. देयर इज अ संस्कृत कोट, मुंडकोपनिषद हैज बीन कोटेड, अर्थात ब्रह्म या हृदय आकाशस्थ ईश्वर लक्ष्य है. प्रणव धनुष के समान, आत्मा या अहम भाव शर के समान, तीर के समान अप्रमत सदा स्मृति होकर उस ब्रह्म रूप लक्ष्य में आत्मरूप शरीर को भेद कर तन्मय होना पड़ता है. यह ध्यान अभ्यस्त होने पर साधक ध्यान काल में हृदय में आनंद का अनुभव करते हैं. उस समय ईश्वर संस्थित जात आनंदमय बोध मैं हूं ऐसा स्मरण कर ग्रहण तत्व में जाना पड़ता है. इसके अतिरिक्त सुस्थिर तथा प्रसन्न चित्त से अपने चित्त को क्लेश शून्य एवं शुद्ध स्वरूपस्थ भाव में ऐश्वरिक भाव में भावित किया जाता है. So very detailed method has been given, practical method has been given in Sutra, that how this meditation on the heart is possible and how it is to be carried out. This is what is stated there. And in the same Sutra, if we look at the English version of it and little portion of the, how to locate this heart. Buddhi, I sense, are realized as parts of oneself, because we cannot ascertain or realize someone else's buddhi, I sense, etc. If therefore God has to be thought of as a part of oneself, he has to be thought of as I am he. This method is supported by the Shastras. In effect, the process of Ishwar Pranidhana has to be practiced inside the heart, the inner part of the chest, wherein one feels Please see, when I said the heart is the center of consciousness, that is what is being explained here. As a matter of fact, the location of the heart has to be determined by following the feeling. It cannot be located by analyzing the body anatomically. The feeling of attachment, etc., produces a reflex action which is cognized in the heart. But we cannot locate where the mental modifications are taking place. That is why it is easier to get to the cognizer by meditation in the region of the heart. That region is the center of I sense. I sense is the creator of Buddhi. I sense is the creator of intellect. So that region is the center of I sense related to one's body. The brain is no doubt the center of mental actions, but if mental fluctuations are to be stopped for a time, it can be felt that the sense of ego is going down into the heart. Again, it is a method of meditation, a process. If it is carried out, then one will feel even the brain activity is slowly descending down into the heart region. When by meditation on the region of the heart, the subtle I sense is realized and it is pursued upward into the brain, then can the subtlest center of I be located. Then the heart and the brain becomes one and the same. Then the heart and the brain becomes one and the same. So here they have said that how to locate the heart. Normally, when we have a great sense of pleasure or when we have a great sense of sorrow, sadness, we feel that sadness, we feel that pleasure, where the intense feeling some way. So we have to physically find out where exactly this sensation is arising. Just compare it with the example I had given when we were talking about the stomach region, when we were talking about the navel region. So in childhood, we were very sensitive. Now remember the childhood, you wanted something very badly. So you wanted something very badly and you thought that you may never get it. And suddenly you got it. For example, your father was very strict. You wanted to go for picnic with your friends and you were doubting that your father will give permission. And you want to desperately go for that picnic with your friends. And suddenly your father says, okay, go. And then you are in a very joyous mood. Where exactly you felt that joy? Where exactly that joy was felt? And what in stomach region, what happened? So one will feel that we are talking about stomach because stomach is also very closely connected. So we will feel a kind of butterflies in the stomach or some fearful news comes. You'll find that some stressful news comes. We heard something very bad. Suddenly you'll find there will be a kind of stomach will be seized. It will completely stop. So that was the Nabhi chakra. In heart also, when joyful feeling is there. Now also the method suggested by Swami Harirandaranya is that now we will do little exercise of trying to locate this heart. As I told you, it is a very practical sutra. So let us feel it practically where the heart is located. Now, right now, so I cannot give you some wonderful news which will really, make your heart leap. That kind of news I cannot give you, but then I can tell you, I can give you a suggestion that think of somebody whom you love tremendously. Think. जिसको आप बहुत प्यार प्यार करते हो, अपने माँ को याद करो, अपने पिताजी को याद करो या कोई अपने गुरु है जिससे आपको बहुत प्रेम, ऐसा कोई व्यक्ति जो आपके जीवन में बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है, very important person, you love that person. Just try to recall, close your eyes and feel. Think of that person, think of the pleasure, think of the love, and then trace the feeling where you are feeling this feeling. Trace it. Where exactly you are feeling that little excitement or the little joy or that little peace or that little exuberance, that little excitement, where exactly you are feeling. Now, by following this kind of feeling, you have to trace the heart. So what Aranya says, This way, try to locate the heart, and that is what is the heart region, which Sutra is talking about. Sutra is not talking about the physical organ. It is, but that it might be connected to physical organ. It might be in fact located in the physical organ. But now psychologically, where exactly we are feeling that feeling. So think of the loving touch of mother, or some great wish fulfillment, or some great being with whom you feel real joy, real pleasure. Think of him, and then what feelings are generated as a result, and try to trace those feelings and try to locate them physically, where exactly they are arising. So where you are feeling that, that is what is the heart, which is being talked about in this sutra. So that is the heart region which has to be located, and that has to be focused on. And there one has to think of the divine being. When the sutra is saying, or Vyasbhashya is saying Brahmapuri, the Brahma is located within us. This is the secret, that yoga ultimately, vrittis are to be stopped. Yogas chitta vritti nirodha. That is the second sutra. And the third sutra says, Tada drashtu swarupe avasthana. How, if the God, or if the Purusha, if the consciousness was located outside our body, then how, by merely stopping the vrittis, we will get access to Purusha? We will access God. How is it possible? Somewhere the connection between vrittis and this consciousness is there. So that's why Yoga Sutra says, Yogas chitta vritti nirodha tada drashtu swarupe avasthanam. The moment vrittis will stop, you will get access to consciousness. You will get access to buddhi. That is why vrittis have to be stopped. So this heart region, one has to feel as if that is the center of consciousness. Very important. The more you focus on the heart, the better we connected to our vrittis. Now, you see, the idea how it works is, when we are focusing on the heart region and mind is actually there, then even small fluctuations, they will be noticed. One will become aware. And through this, one will also become aware of the reactions, the thoughts, the vrittis which are arising. And through that, how our mind functions, how our chitta functions, that knowledge will be available. Because ultimately, as I told you, psychologically speaking, feelings are very important. Emotions and feelings, these are very powerful motives for us. Sometimes you'll find people get angry. They say things they don't want to say. They do things they don't want to do. And if you ask them, why did you do it? I just felt like it. I could not control my feeling. I could not control my emotion. And that's why I did it. So the feelings move us. Feelings makes us think in a certain way. They create a certain perception. So by focusing on the heart, we get access to these feelings, and through these feelings, we can trace the mental perceptions, and ultimately, even the knowledge of buddhi is gained as a result. It is like, our body can be considered like a big corporate house, or it can be considered as a Indian government. Our body can be compared to Indian government. Exactly who's the entity which is running the body? If I ask you a simple question, government of India. Have you seen government of India? Where is government of India? So one may say that, every department which is working for government is government of India. A simple vehicle which is serving in a particular department, it will be written on that, government of India. But that vehicle is not government of India. Or that office which is belonging to the government of India is not the government of India. So where is the government of India? Who actually runs the show? So gradually, or for that matter, companies, various departments are there. Sales department, purchase department, service department, marketing department. So many departments are there. And we know that the name of the company is there. What is that? We take the name of the company. But where exactly is the company? Where's the company head? So this way, if we look at the body, then our body is a conglomerate of so many faculties. And which is the highest authority? Because ultimately, if we want to understand our body, then we have to understand who runs the body, who's at the helm of affairs, who's the superior authority. So if we say, look, we are walking through legs, so legs are important, but legs are only a part. We are using our hands are only part. We are using our eyes, we are using our ears. They are just a part. So who's making these eyes and ears run and work? So what is behind it? So that way, if we try to trace it, ultimately all the faculties which are contained in our personality, the collective name of those faculties and those abilities, those capacity is what is Chitta. So Chitta is a very rich term. Chitta cannot be termed only as a mind, because normally when we talk in English and use the word mind, normally we think that a part of us, a part of our body where the thinking takes place, that is what is mind. This is the common understanding we have. If I ask you, describe what is mind, so you will say mind is where the thinking takes place, or mind is where the vrittis are taking place. This is what you will say, that where the thoughts are going on, where the perception is taking place, or where the cognition is taking place. But then, the entire process, the entire system is contributing to that. So ultimately, who's ruling the entire body? Like when we talk about government of India, ultimately the buck will stop at the prime minister or the president, because we will say they are the head of the government. So they are the epitome of Indian government. Like that, if we have to trace it in our own body, then which is the most important thing? It is the Buddhi. And Buddhi is also known as Mahat, Mahan. It is also known as I sense. Because when we think of Buddhi, if I have to think of myself as Buddhi, then I say, oh, I am intelligent. I have intelligence. So ultimately it is this. So I sense is equated to Buddhi. So one gets the knowledge of the self, one gets knowledge of the Buddhi. And Purusha or the consciousness is still beyond that, which is really calling the shot. But at the material level, at the physical level, it is the Buddhi which is calling the shot. It is Buddhi which is the boss. So by doing Samyama on the heart region, one acquires the knowledge of Chitta. Chitta is a technical word of yoga, and you'll find that even some other systems of Indian thought, they also use the word Chitta. But in yoga, Sankhya also doesn't use much, but in yoga, Chitta word is used. That's why you'll find yoga's Chitta Vritti Nirodha. And here also the word Chitta, Chitta Samvita has been used. So that is the importance of. So meditation on God also is done on the heart region for knowing one's own self deeply. The uh, object is the heart. This is what Sutra is trying to tell. There are many, as I told you, next time we will look at some other quotations, by the great saints and sages, like what Gorakshnath has to say about this, what Guru Nanak Ji has to say about this. Again, we may touch upon Kabir, some other saints also. So heart is very important region to be focused on, and one has to locate it by following the feelings. And if one remains connected to these feelings, in psychology also they talk about people who are not in control of their body and mind, because the moment some impulse arises, they act on that, and they are very impulsive in nature, so they suffer as a result. But a person who's really aware, he will try to remain aware of what kind of feelings are there. Stress cannot be detected easily. Person goes in stress and he is not even aware that he is under stress. But when we remain connected to our feelings by focusing on the heart, any small emotion, any small feeling which arises, any small change which arises in the mind and body, it will be immediately detected. We will become aware of it. even the physical changes which are taking place. We will become aware of that. So that is how perhaps this system works. That when we focus on the heart, we are remaining connected and we are maintaining this awareness of the feelings. And when we are aware of the feelings, we can get a very good understanding how our minds are functioning. So if certain thought patterns are leading to problems, we get a chance to correct it. But a person who is not aware of his own self and his own feelings, he doesn't even realize what he is doing. He is as if the under the influence and power and control of the feelings. Blindly he follows a person becomes like road rage is there, or person gets very angry and goes into rage, and then he does things for which he will regret for entire life because he loses control of this awareness of those feelings. So the implications, as I told you, the implications could be many. It has got very practical implication in our life if we remain connected to the heart region by way of understanding our feelings, by focusing on our feelings. So this is the important take of the sutra. Next sutra is an extension of it. In this sutra, we are talking about knowledge of buddhi, knowledge of eye sense, but in next sutra, knowledge of purusha is being talked about. So the same process. Now you see the sutras are moving into a very subtle kind of areas. They are talking about the highest philosophical ends of yoga and Sankhya. What yoga and Sankhya is trying to achieve, those things are being now talked about in these sutras. So this sutra is talking about Buddhi and Chitta. Next sutra will talk about Purusha. So if there are any questions.
निरंजन वो बोलते हैं जो मिस्टिक्स होते हैं दे live by the heart and not
Yeah,
by the mind,
yeah,
because the mind is very, very calculative and very, I mean to say, they live by the heart and they do things by the heart. And even a bhakta, I think, lives by the heart. He's not
yeah.
like, is it true?
Very true, very true. But sometimes the intelligent people of modern world, they will say live by head. If you live by heart, you are very. They may some people may be calling you very simpleton, and so it is not looked upon very highly by the modern intellectual people. They say that be intellect. What they mean to say is that always be calculative, always think of your safety, always think of your benefit, always think of yourself, always protect yourself. But a mystic or a bhakta or a simple man doesn't think in that way. He is just guided by his intuition. In previous sutra, we talked about intuition. We talked about pratibha. We talked about prajna. We talked about prajna and pratibha. So this intuitive feeling is there. Now you see when a person see the advantage of living life like this is that one doesn't have to use his intellect to know the truth as if it reveals itself in intuitive form to such a person. If a person is always living at that level where he is highly aware, if a person is walking towards him, he will know why that person has come. He doesn't have to think. He doesn't have to intellectually rationalize, intellectually calculate why this person is coming. The fact that the person comes to him, he will come immediately come to know what is the reason is this person is coming to me. So he has got a better knowledge available. Now this may, if a calculative person is there, he may what you see what all we can calculate. Even if we take pride in our intellect, even if we take pride in नहीं नहीं मैं तो बहुत सोच समझ के कितना सोच समझ के काम करेंगे क्योंकि ये दुनिया में in this universe there are so many variable factors which our mind cannot calculate. Even the supercomputer cannot calculate all the variables which are there, and that is why we go wrong. हम लोग को लगता है we are very smart and I am guiding my life in a certain way. But when the calamity comes, then we realize. When the breakdown comes, then we realize all our calculations go in wrong. That doesn't mean we should not be calculating. That doesn't mean that we should not think. That is not the idea. The idea is not overemphasizing the intellect, overemphasizing the mind only. One has to also develop this in as human beings. We have got very good transmitters and we have got very good receivers. All of us, without exception. जो भी हम लोग यहाँ पे हैं, everybody who is here, everybody has got a very good receiver, everybody has got very good transmitter. Only thing, we have lost control of it. We have lost sensitivity of it. We all are capable. इसीलिए see, when something happens inside our heart, intuitively we know, but the moment we will try to rationalize, the moment we will try to intellectualize it, the moment we will think more, the complications will arise. In initial reaction, we come to know what is the correct course of action, but because of the use of the mind, we may go haywire, we may go in wrong direction. It happens very often. So when we are talking about mystics and saints, when they are living at the intuitive level, at the heart level, is that they are not selfish. They don't have calculate mind. They are not worried. They are not at all tense. There is no stress in them. They are just easily living their life happily, all the time, relaxed all the time in God consciousness. So as if, the knowledge is available to them through their intuitions, and then they can get better understanding of the whole thing. And all mystics have talked about it, be it Guru Nanak, be it Ghulam Farid, be it Bulle Shah. Bulle Shah, very beautiful Bulle Shah's poem is there. He says that if God was to be found in forest, like many sadhus go to forest, so many sadhus go to caves in search of God, in search of spirituality. So he says that if the God was to be found in caves and forests, then all the deers and buffaloes and the animals in the forest would have already got the God, because they are living in forest. Tigers and lions are living in the caves. So if the God was to be found in caves, then lion would have found the God, because he is also living in the cave. So what he says is that ultimately you have to judge yourself. You have to go in your heart, and there you have to find God, because that's where the seat of God is. So these are the words of Bulle Shah, famous mystic poet. Ghulam Farid is there. So many poets are there. I told you about this, even this uh, uh, Kabir Bhajan. I told you that Mrag ka nabhi mahi kasturi ban ban firat udasi. We are in search of, we are searching peace outside, but the peace is within. It has to be generated from within. It has to be felt within. Right? Peace doesn't come from outside. Very clearly, I'm telling you, there will be never a situation in life where will be external circumstances will be so conducive that we will be at peace. It never happens. It can never happen. If at all we want to experience peace, we have to bring it from within. We have to generate within. Then only we can experience peace. Otherwise, हम सोचेंगे ये हो जाएगा तो पीसफुल हो जाएंगे, वो हो जाएगा तो, ऐसा कुछ भी होने वाला नहीं है. अभी 40-50 साल की उम्र हो गई, अभी तक नहीं हुआ, तो आगे 30-40 साल में क्या होने वाला है? कुछ भी नहीं होने वाला. So we have to understand, we have to work at it. It has to be generated. The peace has to be generated within. And that will come from deeper understanding. We'll have to change the game. We have to change the rules of the game, and we have to start living by different considerations, which yoga is telling us. So we have to be aware all the time, maintain this awareness.
This anecdote about Ramakrishna saving the scorpion is just not like, irrational behavior, but they are what they are,
Yeah, they are what they are. And people may call such people, that no, what is
they're
this is
mad.
foolishness. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's what happens. Even you will find even ordinary level, बहुत सारे दोस्त लोग हैं, हम लोग ग्रुप में जाते हैं. If you are a simpleton, then people take you for granted. अरे ये तो ठीक है, कुछ नहीं. But they fail to see the quality, they fail to see the truth of it. They fail to see how valuable it is. In today's world, can you find a person who's so simple hearted that you can trust him fully? So difficult it has become. So difficult. So when you find a person who's simple and whom you can trust, you know, protect him and hold him dearly, because very rarely we find such people. Today we are living in a sensate culture. We are living in a material culture. Everything in terms of money, what I'll get, what I will get, what is my benefit. All the time, this kind of thinking is going on. So we have to come. We have to become free from that. If at all we want to experience some higher states of mind, higher states of consciousness, we want to feel joy, harmony, peace, connection with universe, connection with God. If this is our motive, if this is our goal, then we have to change our thinking pattern. That is very necessary. Like everybody appreciates Buddha. But if you have to live like Buddha, we have to live like Buddha's life, and we have to become simple.
Sir, namaste.
Namaste, namaste.
I would, yeah, sir, in Yajurveda and certain sections of Veda, they do mention, right, that the location of the mind is in the heart.
Yeah, they do mention.
I just wanted to.
Yes. Even some Upanishads, I quoted from Upanishad. Even in Katha Upanishad, I don't have the quote right now, but then in Katha Upanishad also, when the conversation is going on between Nachiketa and Yama, Yama is telling him about the location in the heart. I had mentioned that in earlier sutra when we were discussing 26 sutras, Bhona Jnanam Surya Sanyama. That time I had mentioned about.
Right.
Yeah, so many, in scriptures, many quotations are there.
Many quotations.
Yes.
And now even the neuroscience, it says that actually heart is the center of creation. It's the heart which allows the mind to create.
Yes.
So
I said
everything starts from the heart, the decision making.
Yeah.
So there are some questions here on the chat.
Okay. It says, Manjula Parpia, sir, can you please repeat the peace from within? Mystics are compassionate. This feeling of compassion comes from the heart region. Yes, this feeling of compassion, when we talk about, that is the most integral part, that is the most essential quality of a saint, sage, or mystic. Even this was the highest quality of Gautam Buddha and Bhagwan Mahavir, the compassionate heart, the compassion. They have compassion for every living creature. They have compassion for every living being. So their heart is being full of compassion. Compassion is the highest human emotion and highest human virtue. That's why you will find when we were discussing about Maitri, Karuna, Mudita, Upeksha, there the compassion is the highest human emotion. So it is true that it is related to a person who lives by heart, he will have that compassion. And this compassion only is responsible for the many Buddhas for not taking the final plunge of nirvana. They want to help the suffering humanity. That's why they are not taking nirvana. They remain in this world so that they can help all the suffering human beings to go in the right direction. And that is what yogi also does. And you will be surprised, not only Gautam Buddha is guided by compassion, the philosophy we are discussing, Sankhya and Yoga. Sankhya, very first sutra of Sankhya is that Bhagwan Kapila was moved by compassion. He, with his heart full of compassion, he revealed the knowledge of liberation to his disciple, whose name was Asuri. So, this compassion, this mystic quality of compassion, is most important for mystics. And last time we saw that, these mystics have the inherent power, intuitively they feel it. They have this innate ability. But in case of ordinary individual, we don't have this innate ability. So what we have to do, we have to develop it. The impulse is there. It is there in all of us. We all have compassion in our heart, but then we have to develop it. We have to strengthen it by focusing on the correct things. We have to focus on the correct feelings to strengthen it. And then Manjula has asked, sir, can you please repeat the peace from within? Yeah, this is a simple statement I am making, simple truth, which saints and sages have been trying to tell us. They say that if you are expecting peace of mind, if you are expecting peace and tranquility from the external world, then you are mistaken and you will never succeed. Because many times we say that, when situation is right, I'll practice yoga. When situation is right, when everything is fine, I will go in the spiritual direction. But believe me, if we are waiting, that time is never going to come. Because external circumstances are always going to be in turmoil. They'll be always turbulent, disturbing. So if we are waiting for the world to become conducive to us, that hope is useless. So what these saints are saying, if you want to feel peace, if you want to feel harmony and peace, start feeling within your heart. You should be peaceful. Let the external world do whatever the external world is doing, but you have to create your peace within your heart. So that is important. Without that, we cannot feel the peace.
So, can I add to that?
Yes.
The
Yeah.
Kathopanishad, it says about the spiritual heart. Na? The Purusha is Angushta Matra. And
it is within the region of heart.
And that heart is not the pumping heart that we generally know about on the left side.
That will be the physical organ. So normally we say that, but somewhere in the chest only we feel that feeling. So,
yeah, but just today I had attended one lecture on Kathopanishad where the teacher said that it is located on the right side, that spiritual heart, so-called.
Yeah. So yeah,
it's not the normal heart which we are acquainted with. The pumping heart is on the left, and this, which even Yoga Vasishta says Heya and Upadeya, like that.
It is on the right. It is it is felt in the right side.
He said it is the spiritual heart.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, that is what correct it is.
Yeah.
So I was mentioning to her that Kathopanishad, same thing.
Yes.
It is in the region of the heart where Angushta Matra Chaitanya.
Matra it is situated.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Radhika is asking, sir, how we can develop intuition. See, one way of developing intuition is, living in the body, paying attention to the sensations, and living in the mind by awareness. The moment any thought arises, we just become aware of that. So if we practice this body awareness and mind awareness, or in modern terminology, if we try to understand it, mindfulness. Nowadays, mindfulness is being talked a lot. So people are saying that let us be mindful of everything. So the practice of mindful, now in yoga, it is known as Sattva Sansevan. Even in Buddha, even in Buddhism, it will be known as Sattva Sansevan. What is Sattva Sansevan? The way we are sitting now, very simple way to understand Sattva Sansevan would be, now we have been talking about this sutra since long. How many times your attention went to your body? Is your posture correct? Are you sitting correctly? Are you really comfortable? Are you at ease? Now, this is the way we remain connected to the body, we remain connected to the sensations. The more we are able to do it, the better intuition will develop. So it is suggested by way of technique. Last time also we discussed when we talk about meditation. What meditation does? It increases our mindfulness. As the mindfulness will increase, as this Sattva Sansevan we will always remain in sattvic frame of mind. So when we remain in sattvic frame of mind, the intuition automatically develops. We don't have to put any effort. You are in that awareness and suddenly it will dawn on you, okay, this is what is happening. So we remain connected. This is how we can develop it. So a lot of material to think about.
This word?
Yeah. Jina, yes?
Sorry to interrupt. This word Sattva Sansevan is from Buddha? You
Buddha
said
also
it's from
and
Buddha?
Buddha also and yoga also. Both. It is in their both systems.
Yeah, but this Sansevan is from where can I find this? I want to read more on this.
You will find it
Sattva
in
Sansevan.
Sattva Sansevan is there in at one place in Vyas Bhashya. Dr. Jaydev often used to talk about it.
Okay.
Dr.
In Vyasa Bhashya. Okay.
Dr. Jaydev often used to talk about this Sattva Sansevan. Maintaining this awareness. What is Sattva Sansevan is, the remaining aware of the, like in Vipassana. So they say that constantly maintain awareness of breath. That is, if you maintain constant awareness of the breath, that is what is Sattva Sansevan.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Yes. So these meditations that you mentioned, can we practice it together with you
We
for a
can,
few
but
minutes
unfortunately,
sometimes?
we can definitely, but you are at that distance and we are all, on the video. So it becomes difficult. Had we been there personally,
Yeah, on Zoom.
yeah, then we could have done a lot by way of techniques. But at this media, whether it is be possible, because watching everybody and then correcting, lots of things are involved there. Otherwise, scope is there. We can do few things. But then, I have shared the
Yeah,
details.
just with your instructions.
No, you can
I
try it.
mean,
And if
with
there
your
is any
instructions.
you can try it. And if there are any difficulties, we can discuss. We can put it in the group. In fact, what happens is most of the people, they come on Thursday, they listen to it, and then the whole week there is silence. So, one can try, one can practice, one can share. If the difficulties are there, they can be discussed. So that way we can contribute more to each other's, growth.
Yes, true.
Yeah.
Okay, we will try this meditation.
I tried. If
I
there's
will
a
try.
difficulty, we can see one-on-one. We can connect on video, and we can. I can show you the instructions, and but then in group saying everything and everybody following, it might be a little difficult.
Yes. It would be a blessing to at least have one session where I can get some guidance, because it would be very helpful. I meditate, but I'm happy to get some instructions of a teacher.
We have done some sessions earlier also, if you remember.
Yes, sir. So I am remembering now that we had sessions on sattva, and even
the pratyaya sarga, bhavas and pratyaya sarga.
the pratyaya sarga, and you went through the whole list of pratyaya sarga, which Dr. Jaydev had, maybe you did together with Dr. Jaydev.
If not only you, anybody has got any such inclination to discuss in deeper areas, deeply, and want to go into deeper areas, then I'm open. Even apart from this session, I can have an individual session for everyone.
So, sir, I would be very happy. This is a blessing. This is a blessing to have. So, because those sessions of Pratyaya Sarga, oh my God, these are still with me, and you won't believe that every day it helps me. Every day. So the Sattva discussion that we had, the Pratyaya Sarga discussion that we had, it has, I think, become a memory of lifetime. So very deep, intense effect of it. So that's why it was so intense.
Yeah. So I'm open to everybody.
Yeah, I would
Everybody
be so grateful.
who's interested. Yeah, please, you can connect and we can discuss it.
Yes, that would be, just one class would be a great opportunity. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
एक जोक बनता है निरंजन.
हाँ बोल एटमॉस्फेयर हैवी हो गया, थोड़ा लाइट करेंगे.
एक फ्रेंड अपने दूसरे फ्रेंड को पूछता है, ये सुख शांति क्या है? सब लोग बोलते हैं सुख शांति. तो दूसरा फ्रेंड बोलता है, पता नहीं यार, मैं शादीशुदा हूँ.
तो शादीशुदा आदमी को भी शांति मिलेगी अगर ये करेगा. मतलब इसका मतलब व्हाट आई एम सेइंग, यू विल आल्सो गेट इट even though you are married.
So I'm sorry, but just one question. I wanted to know about that Manduk, what was mentioned at the Kathopanishad about the location of the heart. Can you just specify where I can read it about it?
It is there in the Upanishad. In Kathopanishad, it is there. I'll share the 2-3 shlokas which are there. I'll put it in the. So everybody will get access.
Yes, please. Thank you, sir. And sir, I'll also be interested in an individual session on meditation. and on the same topic that she spoke about.
No, I will not take a session,
Satya
but
Sarga.
whatever has been suggested, now you can try it. And
Okay, sir.
you try wherever you get stuck, you want to discuss, then maybe we can have a corrective session or we can discuss on that.
Okay, sir.
But your effort has to be there.
Yes, sir.
First, you have to put effort, try to feel it, and then when there's some difficulty, you are getting stuck up, we can discuss it.
Yes, sir. Sure,
For
sir.
that, always open.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sure, sure, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.